Elise, lovely. Mbappé! And Mbappé!
He does that to the T, and I like the way he thinks about it, because he thinks about how he can score goals. It doesn't just happen like that.
Every generation of football has that one player who makes the impossible look routine. A player who doesn't wait for history to find him. He chases it. For France, that player is Kylian Mbappé. Before his 27th birthday, he had already lifted the FIFA World Cup, scored a hat-trick in a World Cup final, won multiple league titles, broken France's all-time scoring record, and become the face of one of the biggest clubs in world football. But statistics alone don't explain why defenders fear him. And they certainly don't explain how a teenager from the suburbs of Paris became one of football's defining superstars. This isn't just the story of one of football's fastest players. It's the story of a footballer who refused to let pressure become a burden, and instead turned it into fuel. If you enjoy football documentaries that dive deeper than the headlines, make sure to subscribe, because there's much more to come. This is the rise of Kylian Mbappé. Long before the packed stadiums and global spotlight, there was a small neighborhood called Bondy, just outside Paris. Football wasn't simply a hobby there, it was part of everyday life. Mbappé was born into a family where sport shaped everything around him. His father, Wilfried, coached youth football. His mother, Faiza, was a professional handball player. While other children dreamed of becoming professional footballers, Mbappé behaved as though that future had already been decided. He trained relentlessly. He studied the game, and every session became another step toward a goal that seemed almost impossible. His bedroom walls were covered with pictures of Cristiano Ronaldo. Years later, the two would stand on the same pitch, not as fan and idol, but as rivals. Soon, France's famous Clairefontaine Academy opened its doors to him. At Clairefontaine, every training session became more demanding. In 2015, AS Monaco handed the 16-year-old his professional debut. It wasn't surrounded by fireworks or headlines, just another young player stepping onto a Ligue 1 pitch. But within months, people realized this wasn't just another academy graduate. His speed terrified defenders. His confidence surprised experienced professionals. Every touch carried purpose. Every sprint looked unstoppable. Then came the 2016 and 17 season, the season that introduced him to the world. Mbappé became the symbol of that team. Goals arrived almost every week. He scored against Manchester City in the UEFA Champions League round of 16, announcing himself on one of football's biggest stages. Then came Borussia Dortmund. Another huge European night. Another decisive performance. Suddenly, Europe wasn't asking who Mbappé was. They were asking how long Monaco could possibly keep him. By the end of the campaign, Monaco had achieved something remarkable. They won Ligue 1, ending Paris Saint-Germain's dominance, while also reaching the Champions League semi-finals. Mbappé finished the season with 26 goals across all competitions. He was still only 18 years old. The race to sign him had officially begun. Paris Saint-Germain secured his signature in one of the most expensive transfers in football history. The pressure instantly became enormous. At PSG, winning Ligue 1 was never enough. The club expected Champions League glory. Anything less would be considered failure. Alongside Neymar and Edinson Cavani, Mbappé entered a dressing room filled with world-class talent. Many wondered whether such a young player could handle the expectations. He answered in the only way he knew, by scoring goals. Lots of them. Season after season, he became faster, smarter, and more complete. He wasn't just relying on explosive pace anymore. His movement improved. His finishing became ruthless. His composure in front of goal placed him among Europe's elite. Then, in the summer of 2018, football's biggest stage arrived. The FIFA World Cup in Russia. Most 20-year-olds dream of simply being there. Mbappé had much bigger plans. At just 19 years old, Kylian Mbappé arrived wearing the weight of expectation, but he played with the freedom of someone who had nothing to lose. France began steadily, building momentum with every match. Then came the round of 16 against Argentina. On one side stood Lionel Messi, already one of football's greatest players. On the other stood a teenager playing in his first World Cup. In the second half, with the game hanging in the balance, Mbappé struck twice in just a few minutes. His first finish was calm and precise. His second was unstoppable. France won 4-3, and the football world had found its newest superstar. He became only the second teenager after Pelé to score twice in a men's World Cup knockout match. France continued their march through the tournament, eliminating Uruguay before meeting Belgium in a tense semi-final. One more victory stood between Mbappé and football immortality. The final against Croatia wasn't just another match, it was the biggest game of his young life. France won 4-2. Mbappé scored the fourth goal with a powerful strike from outside the box, becoming the first teenager since Pelé in 1958 to score in a World Cup final. When the final whistle sounded, he had already achieved what countless great players never managed, a World Cup champion, at just 19 years old. If you're enjoying the journey so far, don't forget to subscribe. There are many more football stories waiting to be told. Winning the World Cup changed everything. Expectations became even greater, but Mbappé kept improving. Season after season at Paris Saint-Germain, he added new dimensions to his game. His finishing became more clinical. His passing became more creative. As legendary teammates moved on, PSG slowly became his team. He wasn't simply their biggest attacking threat anymore. He became their leader. By the time he entered his mid-20s, he had already climbed to the top of France's all-time scoring charts, surpassing names that had defined previous generations. Every season brought another milestone. Yet there was one prize that continued to escape him: the UEFA Champions League. No matter how many goals he scored, Europe judged PSG by only one standard. Could they finally become champions? That question remained unanswered. But another World Cup arrived before he had the chance to answer it. And once again, Mbappé looked ready. Qatar, 2022. By now, Mbappé was no longer football's brightest young talent. He was one of its biggest superstars. France entered the tournament carrying enormous pressure after becoming defending champions. Mbappé scored against Denmark to secure qualification. He produced another brilliant display against Poland in the round of 16, scoring twice with finishes that highlighted both his power and precision. Every match reinforced the same message: the bigger the stage, the better he became. France defeated England in the quarter-finals before overcoming Morocco to book another World Cup final. Standing on the opposite side was Lionel Messi and Argentina. For much of the final, France struggled. Argentina controlled possession, created better chances, and deservedly led by 2 goals. With less than 10 minutes remaining, many believed the trophy was already decided. Then football witnessed one of the greatest turnarounds ever seen on its biggest stage. Mbappé converted a penalty. Just 97 seconds later, he met a bouncing pass with a stunning first-time volley that flew into the corner. In the space of 97 unforgettable seconds, he transformed despair into belief. Extra time followed. Argentina regained the lead. France looked beaten once again. Yet again, Mbappé responded. Another penalty. Another goal. A World Cup final hat-trick. The first in a men's final since Jeff Hurst in 1966. Although France eventually lost in the penalty shootout, Mbappé walked away with the tournament's golden boot after scoring 8 goals. It was a defeat, but strangely, it felt like another chapter in his growing legend. As the celebrations faded, another challenge waited on the horizon. A childhood dream, one that had followed him since the posters hanging on his bedroom wall. Real Madrid. After establishing himself as Paris Saint-Germain's greatest ever goalscorer and one of the defining players of his generation, Mbappé finally arrived in Madrid. The expectations couldn't have been higher. Every Galactico is expected to deliver immediately. Every missed chance is analyzed. Every performance becomes a headline. But pressure had followed Mbappé throughout his entire career. He had learned long ago not to fear it. Instead, he embraced it. Then came the goals. Big goals. Champions League nights, league matches, important moments. It didn't take long before Madrid supporters began believing that they had found the next global superstar to lead the club into a new era. Yet even with club football demanding everything, another tournament was approaching. The competition that had already shaped his legacy more than any other. The FIFA World Cup. By the summer of 2026, Mbappé wasn't simply representing France. He was leading them. The captain, the leader, the player every opponent focused on before the opening whistle. France entered the tournament among the favorites once more. And yet again, Mbappé delivered. The round of 16 presented a different challenge. Paraguay had already shocked the football world by eliminating Germany. They defended deep, pressed aggressively, and tried to frustrate France at every opportunity. Every touch he took was met with another challenge, another foul, another attempt to disrupt his rhythm. For over an hour, the match refused to open up. Then came the breakthrough. France won a penalty. The pressure inside the stadium was enormous. Mbappé stepped forward. No hesitation, no frustration, just complete belief. He calmly sent the goalkeeper the wrong way and gave France the lead. Minutes later, France doubled their advantage, securing another place in the quarter-finals. If you love in-depth football documentaries like this, consider subscribing. There are plenty more stories from the beautiful game still to come. The quarter-final brought another familiar opponent, Morocco. The same nation France had defeated 4 years earlier in Qatar. Morocco defended with incredible discipline, refusing to leave space behind their back line. But elite players rarely need many opportunities. Around the hour mark, Mbappé found one. Receiving the ball just inside the area, he shifted it onto his stronger foot before driving a precise finish beyond the goalkeeper. France finally had the breakthrough. It was another crucial World Cup goal. France led 2-0. The result was secured. With every tournament, he wasn't simply adding goals. He was building one of the greatest World Cup careers football had ever seen. Football has always belonged to different generations. Pelé inspired one era. Maradona defined another. Ronaldo changed the way strikers attacked defenders. Messi rewrote what creativity could look like. Now Kylian Mbappé is writing his own chapter. Not by copying those who came before him, but by creating a legacy that belongs entirely to him. From the streets of Bondy to football's biggest stages. From an ambitious teenager at Monaco to a World Cup champion. From the heartbreak of losing one of the greatest finals ever played to becoming France's captain and the face of Real Madrid. Every challenge has added another layer to his story. And perhaps the most frightening part for everyone else is this. His story is still being written. The records will continue to fall. The goals will continue to arrive. And somewhere, another young footballer is probably looking at a poster of Kylian Mbappé on their bedroom wall, dreaming of following the same path. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments. Where do you think Kylian Mbappé will rank among football's all-time greats when his career finally comes to an end?